As you're talking to people who were involved with this and then also sort of had other people's parts of the story handed down through them, I'm curious if your approach changed or Bill's approach changed, talking to people who were there versus people who had another version of the story kind of mediated down through a generation or two.
Well, I think in a sense, let everyone tell their story and see where that story, whether it's Stephen Mosley telling a story that clearly had been handed down to him, but how much did Stephen Mosley really want to check or question his father's story? I think in some respects this film is about false narratives and how we not only tell ourselves stories in the middle of the night when we hear a scream outside our window, but we also tell ourselves stories over the course of 50 years. In a sense, we look at a photograph that sits on our night table and we conjure a whole story around that photograph, which whether it is or isn't true. And so I think in many respects it's taking, and I think this is Bill's approach to his investigation, allow an individual to tell their story, in part because their story, and this is certainly the approach I took as a filmmaker, because their stories haven't been heard. Now, whether they're true or not, or accurate or not, I think you end up, in a sense, making up your own decision as to whether some of those stories, whether Hattie Grunn, for example, actually did or did not call the police.